Actually, I don't mind the dog. Salespeople are weird people, and they'll do anything for a sale.
Hello and welcome to the Carzone podcast, the show where we chat about cars. And today we're going to talk about the process of buying a car, a thing we like to think we know a thing or two about, being Ireland's premier motoring marketplace that lists thousands of new and used cars from thousands of trusted dealers throughout Ireland. And here today from one of them is James Lee from Kylemore Cars, former salesman and current marketing manager. Great to have you on, James. Welcome.
I know, thanks for having me.
You're going to give us all the tricks of the trade and how to get the best deal in buying a car, are you?
Yeah, well, hopefully, and still keep my job at the same time, so yeah.
So we might just start with telling us a little bit about yourself. How did you end up in the motor trade?
I've always been a salesman, really. I started off selling watches, and then from watches to jewellery and watches, and then from that to cars, and then... yeah, that's pretty much it. It's very, very, very straightforward.
Okay.
Yeah,
so
it's kind of one translates into the other, to be fair. Like, when you're selling watches, that's nearly the same price as a used car. It's like...
yeah. Oh, was that kind of watch, was it?
Yeah.
You're selling Rolexes, were you?
Well, yeah. And a lot of other fashion stuff as well. Like.
So did you get like a demo watch, like you had a
No.
demo car?
No, I didn't actually, unfortunately, yeah. If I ever go back, give me a demo watch. No, but... yeah, it was good, like... it does translate. I mean, it's probably easier to sell a used car than it is to sell a watch of a significant value, to be honest.
You need a car, don't you? You don't necessarily need a timepiece.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, what do they say, that a car is the second highest purchase you'll make in your life unless you're into watches? So like,
That's
You've
pretty much
experienced with both.
Yeah, I do.
and did you have an interest in cars
Always.
before you got in?
Yeah, always. Like, I mean, like, it's strange. Like, from when I was like very, very young, I used to have a subscription to Top Gear magazine that so we paid for it. I remember it was like €120 at the time. Wow. And you pay it once a year, and they send you out the magazine with all the bits and bobs on it. I remember you used to get loads of like the Cool Wall would be on it, or whatever. Send that out, and I still have nearly all of them. But I used to spend my time at the back of them. There's a list of all the cars that were out for sale. So I used to know all the makes and models of cars, all the prices, the engine, the horsepower, absolutely everything on it. That's where I learned it from.
Should you get a job here?
No, I'm very happy I call him on when I listen.
So you're selling cars now at the moment. Anyone out there who's maybe thinking of buying a car, could you give us any like insider tips and tricks? What's the best way to approach going in to get the best deal from your salesman?
Do your research on the car you want.
Okay.
I suppose one of the things that's going to save a lot of time between your salesman and yourself, especially when you're in the showroom and you're on the forecourt, is know at least what kind of car you want. Now, I don't mean that as in brand, but do you want a 7-seater, 8-seater? Do you want a 2-door convertible? Or there's so many times you come in and people are looking at, says, I'll have a look at an Audi A1 and I'll have a look at a Nissan Serena. So Audi A1 is a 2-door, sometimes 4-door, tiny little car, and Serena is an 8-seater or 7-seater, whatever.
Okay.
So you're like, well, why would you even be looking at those two? Like, just do you not know what you want? That's a big. Are you just here to waste everybody's time, including your own? Like, or
so how would you approach someone like that? Like, what are the questions you'd ask someone to kind of help narrow the search down?
What do you want? No, because it is just about that. It's just, look, trying to find out what someone wants is probably the hardest thing when they don't know what they want themselves sometimes.
Okay.
I suppose some people can feel like after the fact, if someone comes in, they don't know what they want, and a salesman helps them get what they want, and then after the fact they go, well, I never wanted that. You know what I mean? You're like, well,
you're left getting the blame then.
Yeah, you know, the kind of way. So it's just do your own research and kind of understand what you want or what you need the car for. Is it just for getting from A to B, or do you want something with a bit of style or whatever? And then we can help.
What advice would you give someone on like the best way to do their research into what they want?
Go on to carzone.ie.
There you go. That's the answer.
That job is yours. Okay, so I am a very well-informed buyer. I know what I want. I know I want I want a Golf. I want a diesel. It has to be blue. I've come in. You have the perfect car for me there in Kylemore Cars. I've test driven it. I love it. How do I get the best deal from you now?
Well, at Kylemore Cars, we do things a little bit differently in terms of we like to offer the best deal possible up front, which is why we're so busy.
Okay.
There's no like, oh, we're going to try swing an extra grand out of you.
Okay.
Unless you ask. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
We're getting rid of that whole thing. Like that seems in itself a bit disingenuous,
Yeah.
if you know what I mean. So the car that's priced is priced to go. And it's like that thing like, oh, come in. If the car's 79,950, it's like, what do you take for cash?
Yeah.
I'll give it to you for cash for 79,950.
Yeah.
So there's no such thing as a cash discount anymore.
Like, it's legit. Like maybe like because everything's on the book. So why would you do? What difference does it make?
I understand, and I
It's
suppose
better to go finance.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
For you guys,
Yeah.
it is. Yeah.
What about trading in a car? Is there any tips that you give someone to get like a better trade-in
100%.
value?
Yeah, well, trade-in value, or it's not about how, because that's basically saying that you can make your dealer give you a better price when it's not. That's not really the case. It's more like obviously look after your car, but have an understanding of what the trade-in value is. So when you go in, so like I said, go on to Carzone and look at, okay, is your car in mint condition, and be serious with yourself. Like, don't go and go, my car's the best car in Ireland, and you come in and it's like, well, it's clearly not. It's probably one of the worst. Do you know? And then you're like, you're looking at the highest price golf. What did you say? Golf. So you're looking at like, well, I see a golf up there for 20 grand.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, but your car is nowhere near 20 grand worth. Do you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
the stuff you'd have to put into your car to even make it 20 grand, and then it doesn't even have the same spec as that car would.
Okay.
Do you know the way
So-
people would like clean their car spotless? Like if there's any scratches, put a little permanent marker.
Yeah,
over it. So
yeah.
Does that make a difference, or does it
No.
get past you guys at all?
No, it doesn't. It honestly doesn't make a difference. Like doing something like that, like okay, it's a used car, so like if you have a black set of alloys and you colour them in a little bit, there's little scuff on it. The car's going to be sold as is. There's not going to really be in a place like us, especially in a regular Golf. We're not going to go get the alloys refurbed up to if there's only a tiny little scratch on it.
Yeah.
So stuff like that. No, it's more so your mileage, the spec of your car, and the outside of it. Is it bashed?
Yeah.
Or not, or the paint work it does, is it peeling or whatever, is there rust on the car, all that type of stuff. How clean the car is, no. We're going to get the car validated, whether we're not going to ever, let's say you're bringing your car in, it's clean. We're not going to just go, oh yeah, cool, sell it. You know, we're going to get validated, or if you
I'm
bring
sure
your
you'd
car.
appreciate it didn't come in bits either.
That's on a personal note, yeah. On a personal note, yeah, I've seen some awful cars, like.
What's the worst thing you've seen, or worst condition car you've seen, or any mad stories?
I'm not okay. So we were in the old place in Royal Liver, and a girl came in from up the country, we'll say, and she was in a Honda Civic. I still remember it was a silver one, and when I mean the inside of it was the most disgusting thing you can ever think of in your life. So imagine we're on. So there's like snots, fingernails, like dirty steering wheels, McDonald's stuff everywhere. Like we're talking filth. So imagine that, and multiply that by 2, and that's actually what it was. So I remember I was in it like that. I didn't even want to sit in the seat, you know, like it was, you're like that, and you're like, oh Jesus, and you're trying to drive it, and you're like, yeah, I was just like, yeah, let's just.
Surely that affected her trade-in value.
No, it probably affect the morale of the validator, all right.
Yeah.
But that was honest to God disgusting. Never again, yeah. So I'm delighted that. Yeah, I've moved again. Like I said, I moved away from sales, so I'm delighted I don't really have to do that anymore.
Yeah.
I'm very happy.
And like when you were a salesman, do you have any other like mad stories? Do you remember your first sale?
Oh, I remember my first sale. It was a Honda Shuttle, yeah. Yeah, that was such a weird car. It's like a 6-seater.
I don't think I've ever heard
No,
of
is
a
it a
Honda
Shuttle?
Shuttle.
Jade. It was a Honda Jade.
Okay.
They're very similar. Jade's a little bit more sleek, but it's a 6-seater. So it was like 2, and then 2.
Okay.
And I had like this kind of like thing on the roof, like you put all like your equipment for tents and stuff. We were selling it like that. Came with it, like.
Okay.
And some Indian family bought it. I was like, thank you so much.
First sale.
Yeah, brilliant. That was
Happy
the very
days.
first one. Yeah, that was the first one they called me. But yeah, that's pretty much it. There's no mad stories from myself. Like, salespeople are weird people, and they'll do anything for a sale.
You can say that now that you're not a salesman anymore.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they'll do anything for a sale. So like, actually, I had to mind the dog. I had to mind the dog. Yeah, 100%. Like to mind the dog for someone going on a test drive.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
A dog's not allowed to go on test drives.
not in the fresh fancy car. No, they're not. No. I don't
Oh, you
mind the
paid it
little.
for everyone in Kylemore Cars.
Not dogs. No, I love dogs before, but I had to mind the dog, yeah. I was standing there with a lid, like, she's off driving around the car park.
Oh my god.
And did
Yeah.
the dog have to give the car the seal of approval before she could buy? Did it pass the dog's test?
Dog test.
The dog test, yeah. Oh, Lord.
Is there any truth in those kind of urban legends that if I was to go into a car dealership at a certain time of the month, let's say the last day of the month, and you're all so desperate to hit your targets that you're going to give your car for half nothing, is that true at all?
No. Not with us anyway. Like, maybe in the smaller places, but definitely not with us. Listen, we're so busy, like, the cars, basically, they're flying off the shelf. It's like selling coffee in a coffee shop. It's just, that's it, like.
Is there quiet time of year?
Yeah, December.
December.
Yeah, December. But even still, for us, it's very strange. Like, I do a lot of the reporting. So from last year, I've gone heavy on reports all last year. And there's, normally you see, especially with new car dealerships, they're like, okay, first month of the year, they're like up here, sales start to dip and always decline up until towards the end of the 6 month period and the beginning of the next 6 months for to get the 160 or you know what I mean, so
Yeah.
161. And so you'll get the pre-orders or whatever, and then it'll go back up again. But it seems to be pretty much up, slight drop, level, pick up, and then level again. December
Yeah.
might be a little bit low, but it's very, very different, yeah.
One of the benefits of your sales is busy all year round
It's because of the social media.
because of your social
Yeah.
media.
And if you don't follow Kylemore Cars, make sure you follow Kylemore Cars. But yeah,
That's leading on to my next question. Like, how have you seen the motor industry change in the last couple of years with, obviously, social media coming into it and online sales and being able to buy a car online, and obviously you guys are really present on social media, so how do you think that's affected the
Positive.
car buying?
only in a positive in my eyes anyway. Maybe other people may view it as a negative who aren't actually currently doing that type of stuff though. They may have a negative view towards what we're doing, but I don't think, even still, I don't think that's the case. Like, we were only at the Salesman Awards and I had people come to me and be like, oh, look what you're doing on social media, and they were from main dealers. So I don't think it's impacted in a negative way.
Yeah.
I mean, when we started, like, we were one of the only ones to start doing anything like that with a face behind the social media in terms of what the style we were doing.
Yeah.
Everyone else seems to be real, like, clean cut suit and tie and hi, as you can see. So, like, you know
You're
what I mean?
right, but there's science behind that. Apparently people much prefer to see a face than
Yeah.
they do. A business can feel very kind of cold, whereas you're the personality behind it.
Yeah, but that's the
And people
word is the
relate.
personality.
Yeah.
Like, they did, like, other garages have faces there. Of course they do. But it's everything's real, like, you know, it's...
Yeah.
It doesn't, you know,
not
you're trying to
relatable.
sell something to me. Why would I watch it?
Yeah.
Like, when if I'm on it, I'm just, sometimes I'm being myself. Sometimes I like play up
Yeah.
a thing just to be whatever. But I think you can get behind someone like that.
So, like, with your social media, like, do you plan what you're going to post, or do you just kind
Yeah.
of do it off the cuff?
No, 100%. I used to do it off the cuff. Worked quite well for a period of time until it doesn't. And then you need to be more strategic in what you do. Like, you need to be like, okay, so I have stuff there that's in drafts or whatever for a period of time. Like, right, I'm going to bank that. I'll bank that one. And then I'm like, okay, let's say if I make something and I don't like how it turns out, like, right, I have to scrap that. And then I'll just put the other thing out. And something's always gone out. Like, then again, some of the best things that ever happen are kind of off the cuff.
Yeah.
Whether it's podcasts, social media, anything.
Yeah.
So a lot of that stuff as well, off the cuff, works really well too.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just have an idea and you're like, Jesus.
Yeah. And you guys are obviously on TV as well, your big break.
Well, that's how we got there. That's how we
Yeah.
got there. We were doing, like I said, so we were one of the first garages to do that back in early 2022. And I think I took it over, we don't even have a huge amount of followers now. We're at nearly 10,000, but like when I took it over, we had like less than 200. And I started doing some just regular guy videos. And it popped off one day. So I don't work on a Wednesday, right? And
Are you holy or something?
well, you know what I mean? Whatever I'm doing, it's worked because I came in on Thursday and all of a sudden the boss man wanted to see me. So this was after about 3 months I was doing the social media, making TikTok videos and doing funny stuff. And talking in my accent and doing all this crap. So I went in and I was like, the boss I wanted to see me, and I was like, I'm getting the sack. That's it, I'm getting the sack. And he kept saying to me, he wants to see you at 11 o'clock. It's only 9:30. What am I going to do till then? Like, what am I supposed to do? So
Sweat.
Absolute, pumping sweat. Didn't know what to do, didn't know what to think. And he pulled me aside, so 11 o'clock came, pulled me aside, jumped into the car with him, and I'm like, that's it, like, I'm getting the sack, so I'm sitting here like this now. And he was like, RTE came into us. I was like, what? He said, yeah, RTE came into us, yeah. They said they'd seen you on social media or whatever, and they came in, they want us to be part of a documentary. I was like, you're on the wind-up. You're down for, you know, you're
Where's
definitely on the
camera?
wind-up, yeah. I was literally like that now. You know, but he was like, yeah, so do you want to start? And he said, they specifically mentioned your social media, so that was it. And we went for the McDonald's. And after that, that's when I think it changed on their side, that we'll let because I was doing sales and marketing at the time. I think he was like, right, I think we'll give him the social media job or the marketing manager job for kind of full time. Like.
Nice.
And now I was still doing sales stuff after that point as well. But and because of that, he brought me to Dubai then as well, all inclusive, free of charge.
Not bad.
Yeah, I was only in the company 3.5 months.
Wow. Maybe we'll have on a job in Kylemore instead.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, it's a good company to work for. Yeah, they have to look after me.
Do you think anything's changed since you were on that documentary? Do you see more people coming in or noticing you when they come in?
Yeah. So like I said, even being on the social media, I'm heavy on reports. Like, so a lot of people only see the social media like, you just do TikTok videos. Like, it's not. That's probably 20%, 15% of actually what goes on. So, like, when I'm doing anything that ever happens, let's say if a video goes viral, I'm then in the background looking at, well, did it make a difference on this site? Did it make a difference on Google? Did it make a difference on whatever?
Yeah.
So when that, when the RTE documentary went out, it went out on I think it was a Monday, and I checked the Google Analytics essentially, and the influx into people onto the website it's not what, like, if you're looking at a chart, we were constantly down here, and on those 2 days, Monday to Tuesday, it was up here.
Yeah.
It was 30-fold just from even going onto the RTE.
That's really interesting. I think we
It's
can
strange, isn't it?
definitely,
RTE is like, they were doing a car documentary and then the whole thing with Ryan Tubridy and that. That's funny, isn't it?
yeah, we'll avoid that. But no, I think that's something that we can definitely relate to, because I think like content creation looks very fun, but as you said, there's a lot of hard graft underneath there and measurement and stuff that like is a lot more boring than going out and making your fun TikToks. Like,
and it gets me sometimes. I think why I like, or why I'm actually good at what I do, is because I get invested in it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, if someone ever says to me in the job, they're like, oh, James, you can't post that, I'm like, I get nearly offended by it, you know, that kind of way. But it's the way it should be. There's brand guidelines to follow and stuff. This is why we can't. It's very different. You see some other people online that are the owners of their own business, let's say. They can do whatever they want. They don't have to worry about comeback or losing their job or whatever.
Yeah.
But I actually help develop the brand guidelines as well for what to do.
yeah,
So I know really what to stick to. But there's always like a line, you kind of want to push it. You always kind of want, like, I'm the type of person that's like, right, show me where the line is and I'll just step over it a little bit. Just a little bit.
Just flirt with the line.
Yeah,
flirt with the line.
yeah, and then sometimes the line gets moved. You know what I mean? And then
Yeah.
I'll just step over it a little bit again, and then you're like, well, I'll get back there.
No, fair play. Whatever.
Yeah.
Like, it's clearly working. I'm going to take you back to the car sales and other things just for a moment. What's the most annoying thing that people do in car dealerships? Are tire kickers a real thing?
Oh, stop! Yeah, they are. Unfortunately, and I have family members that are like that. Yeah, they are. It is a real thing. Yeah, look, but now that I'm on the other side of it, I understand. Like, they need to be catered for because they're tomorrow's customers.
Yeah.
Right, so a lot of people are like, oh, tire kickers, whatever. Oh, salesmen are like that because they're like, I just want my targets met and I want all this. But when you step out of that, it's like those guys. If you look after them, they will be back to you, whether it's 2, 3, 4, 5 months down the line.
Yeah.
They will come back to you if they're looked after. And I know it's annoying, and for all the salespeople out there, I know, look, I get it, it's very annoying, but from a business standpoint, they need to be looked after. Like,
You're creating the first impression of your business
that's a tomorrow's customer. That's how many people are today's customers? Nobody just decides one day, buying a car and then they buy it the same day.
And what sort of things would they be doing? Is it like, I want to test drive 5 cars and they're all at the back of the lot and you're going to have to move?
Ah, stop. It's like so we have a system where we can only take out a certain amount of keys.
Yeah.
Physically, we actually cannot take any more keys out after a certain point. And it's like, right, I want to drive 7 cars. And you're like, but, and again, like I said, and they're all different. Like, I'm here to help, but like, come on, don't take the piss. Like.
Give me something.
Yeah.
Have you ever been taken on a really scary test drive?
No, I'm fairly comfortable in cars. People say, I drive scarily.
Oh, right, you're the scary driver.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. So no, I'm very, very comfortable in cars, to be honest. Yeah. Scary, boring, yes.
Okay. So you prefer people to give you a little bit of a scare?
Yeah. No, I like to drive, and I'm big into cars myself and all, so it take a lot to anything bar crashing the car, and I'm not scared. But
has that ever happened?
Been in a crash? Yeah, not as myself though.
No, but I mean a test driver.
Oh no.
Okay.
No, so they don't drive. They're nice and driving Miss Daisy, which is a great thing.
Yeah.
How have you guys coped with the influx of electric cars? Do you stock many electric cars? What are your thoughts on electric cars?
This is a controversial point over the last few weeks, isn't it?
I think his face said it all there.
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, what do you think I'm thinking?
Well, what's your thought on electric cars?
What's your thought on electric cars?
I'm interviewing you here.
I look. There's a place for electric cars. There is. I think it's a second car in a household. Personally, would I buy an electric car? No. Doesn't suit me. I'm a bit more of a petrol head, and being a petrol head has to have some thought, either petrol or diesel. Like, I like the whole combustion side of things, and you know, there's little mini explosions heading off on front of you there, and it just gives you like, it's a feeling you can't really describe. That's why a lot of people don't kind of resonate with towards petrol heads and car heads, you know. But electric cars don't have it.
Yeah.
Like, they have excitement. So like the Audi e-tron, so we just sold an Audi e-tron. It's a Porsche Taycan essentially. It's not the 60 times, is what, 3 seconds or
something ridiculous.
Yeah, it's ridiculously quick. Yeah, you get in, you're like, I've never experienced any of this in my life, and then after the 5th or 6th time you do it, you're like, okay.
Feels the same each time.
Yeah. But so it's more of a second car. Like I'd like them BMW i5s and i4s and stuff. I'd like to have that as a second car in the household. They could be like, well, look, I'm still driving a BMW, and I still have my weekend car that I can have fun in, and you know.
What's the customer interest like? Are they all thinking they should drive electric? Is that something?
No.
Like, where is the interest at the moment?
The idea is not to force stuff down people's throats because they don't like it. So if they feel like they're being forced into electric cars, they're gonna just reject it. And I think that's where it is. There's a lot of people out there, a lot of brands and a lot of social media managers and stuff where they're like forcing the electric thing down people's throats, and the government as well. They're like, oh, we're making commitments, so then people feel like they have no choice and they will be forced into it. Whereas it's more, I would say, it'd be more about the brand awareness or the product awareness. What is it good for? What could you potentially use it for? And then people who want that will buy it. They don't need to be forced upon people. It's like trying to force a 3-litre diesel engine upon everybody.
Yeah.
It doesn't suit some people.
Yeah.
And so why would you have that agenda?
Yeah.
But you see with a lot of like BMW have committed to hydrogen now.
Yeah.
More so than electric. I think Mercedes said that they weren't making any combustion engines after 2030, and the CEO of Mercedes came out only recently and said, yeah, I'm not doing that.
There seems to have been a small bit of a rollback already. Have you found the interest in diesel to be waning at all? Like, is there more, even in the petrol hybrid side, is there
petrol hybrids is here to stay. I think hybrids the way to go. I think, to be honest with you, I think that's probably everything from a tiny little 1-litre engine car hybrid to the supercars are now hybrid cars.
But would you prefer a plug-in hybrid or the self-charging hybrids?
I prefer self-charging. Some people prefer plug-in. I mean, the 330e is a nice car, but that's a plug-in. I think, me personally, it becomes an annoyance to constantly plug my car in. But yeah, I mean, that's just a personal preference, though.
Yeah, like I've driven the plug-in hybrids, and I think it's like for short trips, you know, if you're going only a couple of like 20 or 30 kilometers, you can just drive on the electric,
Yeah.
and then when you're going long distance, then you can switch over. I thought that was the way forward if you're not ready to go electric. But
How did you feel about the whole plug-in aspect of it? Did that even give you range anxiety as well?
well, not if it's a hybrid, you wouldn't have range anxiety because you can switch over to your combustion engine then. But if like most people who buy electric car, like you'd be stupid not to have a charger in your house, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
But again, I wouldn't like to have to rely on the public infrastructure, to be honest.
No, and it's becoming cheaper to fill up. So I currently drive a diesel. It's actually cheaper to fill up my diesel car, if you convert it to like miles per what's being used, than it is to publicly charge your car. So that's where's the incentive to even use it out in public? Like, that's gone.
Yeah.
Definitely is a lifestyle factor. As you said, there's going to be a place for all fuel types for the short to medium term future.
What do you think? What do you think of electric cars?
Yeah, I think they suit a certain type of lifestyle, but I absolutely think that you have to be aware of the fact that that's not every lifestyle and it's not every person, and that, you know, depending on the different area of the country that you live in, it can be a lot more difficult to run a fully electric car down in rural Kerry than it is in Dublin, where there's better access to public charging. It's happening. There's absolutely no rollback now. Like, it's happening with the amount of government investment, which will help it happen quicker as well. I'd be along the lines of Martin there, and that I think plug-in hybrid is a great stepping stone. The only thing about it, like, plug-in hybrid sounds like the absolute perfect solution to the whole thing. You're like, right, you've got your combustion engine and you've got the battery. The only thing there is that you actually need the discipline to charge it, because like you said, you know you've got the backup of petrol, so it's kind of getting into that state of mind where, and sometimes the range is quite short. So I mean, sometimes you might think, do I really want to wait 2.5 hours to do this journey for 40 kilometres, you know?
Yeah, but like even the plug-ins though, it's like, right, so the 330 is a plug-in hybrid, but if you're using the electric and the combustion engine, it's more than a 2-litre car. Do you know what I mean? The equivalent
the
to power.
Insane, yeah.
When that range runs out, it's now you're just back to your 2-litre car. So now you're like, why do I even have it? Do you know what I mean? So that range anxiety of constantly still having to keep it plugged in kind of gets to me, where I think I don't know how to overcome it myself. Yeah. Because that's probably where I'm going to go with my next car as well. As a plug-in.
Like a fellow I know, we bought a new 330E, and he, from the day he bought it, for 4 months, he never put any petrol into it.
Really?
He just ran it off the 50 kilometres that he had to and from work, and he didn't put a drop in. So like that kind of thing, if you're just going short distance, I think that might work for you. But yeah, again, if you're driving, you know, fast speeds and going a long distance, then it probably just doesn't suit you. But
that's the model user. Like, that's exactly the way they are supposed to be.
If you use them like they're supposed to be used, then it works. But you know, it doesn't suit everyone. Like, and that's why I think going forward, like there's different types of, you know, fuel types, and if someone wants to go electric or hybrid, there should be a choice for everyone to suit their needs.
Is that your opinion on it? Like, do you see everybody driving electric?
Oh no, I think everyone should drive what suits them. So like, there'll be petrol and diesel drivers, there'll be hybrid drivers, and there'll be electric drivers, and I don't think there's like, I don't know if there'll ever be a point that will all be electric. Like,
what about hydrogen? The hydrogen fuel cells? Do you know
I don't really know enough about it to comment.
It's still only, that's like extremely new phase. I think there's only like 2 cars on the market that are actually capable of running hydrogen at the moment.
Yeah.
So where electric cars were like the early 2000s. You know?
Yeah, it's really interesting, but like you said, it's early days. It would be good to...
That's almost perfect when you think about it. That's a combustion and it's 0 emissions.
Yeah, 100%.
You know, it's just about kind of, I think the refining part of the hydrogen is the dirty part, essentially, but which so is the EVs. So is, I mean, you're charging your car off a power plant.
That's it. I think the next 20 years are going to be so interesting. Or the last 20 years. Apparently there's been more change in the last 20 years than there was in the 200 years crazy. Before that. Like, so things are happening at
I'd say when the infrastructure kind of fixes itself, now the electric side of stuff has more of an argument then, because they're like, well, actually, no, this is clean energy. This is not. Once that fixes itself, then nobody will ever have to come back of going, oh, well, that's dirty energy.
Yeah.
And what would you, so have you ever got someone try to trade in an electric car, and if so, like, how do you evaluate that compared to a petrol or diesel?
Well, I'm sure you've seen. You guys are avid TikTok users, are you?
I'm not even on TikTok.
I know. Have you
I'm
seen?
not even that old. Well, I don't think I'm that old.
There's two companies on TikTok who have a big following, and they own their businesses, and they have said that they won't touch EVs anymore, and specifically because the trade-ins as well. It's just very hard to price them. Now, we still do take them, because we sell EVs, and we will continue to sell EVs because again there is a market for them.
And why won't? What's the problem?
I don't know. I don't know if it's an actual money type of thing. I don't know if it's just like a business standpoint that they want to focus on other areas of cars, selling cars. I don't know if the market's so volatile that if they give a price on a car, they've no because the businesses themselves are a lot smaller than what we are.
Yeah.
I think
there's less of a comeback.
Okay, we'll move on to something a little bit more lighthearted. If you had to recommend one car to our listeners that would suit, I know this is a difficult one, okay, that would suit 99% of drivers. In other words, what's the one car that you can't go wrong with? Like,
You mentioned it earlier on, it's a Golf. 100%.
that's funny, it was actually our top searched car in Carzone,
Yeah.
and is frequently, like nearly every second year, tops
100% the
the poll.
Golf.
Why is that? What's so good about the Golf?
The Golf is everything anybody's looking for in a car. Like, so you have your models that are you can fuel efficient, economic, whatever. Then you have your quick ones, your GTIs, and then you have your really quick ones, your Rs. The Golf is perfect for everybody. I mean, my first car was a Mark V Golf.
Nice.
Lovely car.
Yeah.
Still kind of miss it to this day. There is no other. I would recommend someone getting into Golf. It's safe. It's nice to drive. It's well made. Parts actually aren't that bad to fix. Like, I know it's a German car, but it's kind of cheap to fix.
Good to know.
Yeah, I literally can't think of anything else other than that. That's the one thing fits all.
Is there any car that you wouldn't recommend?
You have to be careful, you don't have any in stock.
Yeah, and I was only thinking, I was like, do we have any Dacias in stock? No, should we cut it out if I don't like it?
Of course. Of course.
I don't know. There's plenty of cars that I don't like.
Yeah.
I'd always say that they have a place in the market, but I'll rephrase the question. Is there any car, James, you wouldn't drive yourself? I'm like, yeah, maybe like a Mitsubishi Mirage or something. The thing is just so it's like always trying to work hard, like even though it's only doing 10 miles an hour.
Right.
Yeah, it's like the engine's just like up here, like.
So you see a customer coming in a Mirage, are you running?
No, but they're lovely looking cars.
Yeah.
And that's the only thing. Again, people who only care about A to B do not care about how the car drives and how the car sounds and all that stuff. That's the car for you, like.
Right.
Yeah, 100%. But would I drive it? Probably not.
We're going to hit you with a little quick fire round now, just to finish up. So yeah, if you just answer without thinking, if possible. Manual or automatic?
Manual.
Retro or modern?
Retro.
Diesel or petrol?
Diesel.
ICE or EV? I think it's been answered.
Yeah. Silly question.
Carzone or Dundee?
Cars on.
Careful now.
And that's the right answer.
Yeah. What do I win?
Right, so James, thanks for coming on. Do you have any final piece of advice out there for anyone buying a car?
I do, actually. Where's my camera? This one. If you're looking for a car, make sure you drop onto kylemorecars.ie and make sure you follow our social media, and you'll see me on it, and then eventually you'll see this podcast on it. And if you don't want to go directly to kylemorecars.ie, go on to carzone.ie as well.
This man is a pro. He is a pro.
First time.
No.
Oh, it is.
You'd never know it.
Yeah.
Huge thanks to James for coming in. You can try some of you can try some of his own tricks of the trade, as he said, on kylemorecars.ie via Carzone, of course. I've been Sinead McCann.
Martin O'Neill.
And
James Lee.
James Lee. Today's episode of The Carzone was produced by Craig Johnston. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to follow the podcast and leave us a review. Till next time.
Shuffle your papers now.
That's it.